Warframe has no problem when it comes to weapon diversity. There are a ton of weapons. The problem lies, however, in distribution and allocation. Weapons that would have been fantastic at certain MR levels you get later when they're simply obsolete. This is the case with the Prisma Tetra, and today we're going to be diving deeper into this Mastery Rank 4 primary weapon. As always, my name is Leyzar and I have a couple of builds laid out for you guys. Something cheaper and affordable, something anybody can build, but of course we also have the classic endgame setup with a Riven. That being said though, please keep in mind that my builds and guides take a new player friendly approach. I'm gonna be doing a lot of explaining, so if you're a veteran and you already know most of this stuff, please bear with me. And with that out of the way, let's jump into the Prisma Tetra. Let's start by checking out how the weapon behaves without any mods equipped, and for that I'm simply going to be taking a couple of free shots. The Prisma Tetra is a projectile based automatic rifle and it will fire these plasma balls or energy balls, so you will have to contend with the travel time. Now it's very similar to the Dera Vandal or the Supra Vandal, so this is pretty much what you can expect out of the Prisma Tetra as well. Now one thing that I did notice, and I think it's kinda cool, as you fire, the Prisma Tetra will eject these magazines from its nozzle, and when you reload the weapon it just reloads the whole nozzle like that. Again, it doesn't have anything to do with the functionality, but I thought it was kinda cool. Let's jump into stats to see precisely what we're dealing with. Mod capacity is gonna be 60 out of 60, and if yours has only 30 out of 30, jump into actions and install the Auto King Catalyst. This one can be found from alerts, invasions, or if you're lucky, from the daily sortie, and you can also pay 20 plat to have one installed. Keep an eye out on alerts and invasions after dev streams. This is usually when I get to grab one or two a week. My weapon has been formatted a total of 6 times, and this was done only for the purpose of testing. For the weapon build I'm recommending you guys, you can get away with 2 maximum of 3 formats, add 2 Vs and a dash. When it comes to the accuracy, it's 18.2, and you might be wondering about heavy caliber, is it any good? Now heavy caliber is a fantastic mod as it adds a truck and a half worth of damage, the same amount as serration. But take a look at the accuracy. If you are comfortable with something like this, then by all means go for it. From my point of view, it's not worth it, especially considering that the range of the projectiles by default is 100 meters. You can go for heavy caliber, but once again, from my point of view, it simply makes too big of an impact on the weapon's accuracy. Critical chance, 10%. Mommy, why? Yes, it's a very low critical chance. Unfortunately, you can't really work with this one. If you were to go with point strike, you're only going to be getting a 25% crit chance out of the weapon. The multi is not bad, decent at 2.0x, pity about the low base crit chance. Fire rate of 7.08, which from my point of view on this type of weapon is a tad low, but you do have a hefty magazine size of 60, so some additional fire rate will do wonders on the Prisma Tetra. Noise alarming, of course, reload of 2.0 and a Riven disposition of 5 out of 5, which is probably the weapon's saving grace. It's not a popular weapon, so therefore the amount of stats on Rivens are gonna be through the roof. We got a status chance of 24%, which is quite nice. Trigger auto, impact and puncture on the weapon by default. Now impact currently in Warframe is kind of seen like the plague. Nobody really wants to play with impact, but puncture is a whole lot more useful as it will deal extra damage to heavily armored targets. And on a status proc it will reduce the damage those enemy deals, and that can be useful depending on the level of content that you're doing. It can range from between oh my god it saved my life all the way to it was pointless and useless, so bear that one in mind. Now let's jump into a standard build, and we got damage with serration, we got multi-shot with split chamber and vigilante armaments, and we made 750 corrosive damage on the weapon through the use of the 2 90 mods as well as the 2 60-60 mods, high voltage and malignant force. As for my option slot, my mod of choice is gonna be shred, 30% fire rate and 1.2 meters worth of punch through. Again, the range of the projectiles is 100 meters, so the punch through will definitely come in handy. Fire rate will be a huge DPS increase on the Prisma Tetra. I just wished I had the prime version, I don't have it, boohoo and all that. Now the weapon can have a tendency to overstrip if you go for corrosive like I do. If you find yourself shooting level, I don't know, 140, 150 or something like that, and you are overstripping the armor from your targets and therefore losing your damage bonus, you can go for a bit of heat on the weapon. You can just drop high voltage since it's expensive anyway and just slap on thermite rounds. Now high voltage currently on the trade chat PC goes for about 50 to 60 plat, so it can be a tad pricey. Now you can farm it from the game. The mission is called Naelgar on the planet Eris. Find all the free secret caches, then upon extraction, get ready for disappointment as this one only has about a 5% chance to drop together with Shell Shock. You will need both of them eventually. Baro sometimes brings the 60-60 electricity mods as well, so when you see him bring them, make sure to grab a copy of each. That said, I want to talk a bit more about elemental damage, as this should be applied depending on circumstance. Where are you going and who are you fighting? I built a lot of corrosive on my weapon, and when it comes to heavily armored targets, that's gonna be ideal, because corrosive on a status proc will reduce the maximum armor an enemy has, so therefore my subsequent shots will be dealing more and more damage. Keep in mind that corrosive also has a 75% damage bonus modifier when hitting ferrite armor. It doesn't have a damage bonus modifier when hitting alloy armor, but the proc will still come in very useful, as you will still be reducing the armor of your targets. If you're fighting infested, then I would recommend AoE weapons heavily modded into heat, though keep in mind that the elite units of the infested faction are vulnerable to corrosive damage. When it comes to Corpus faction, Fortuna and all whatnot, then I would simply build gas or toxin, as it bypasses their shields entirely and deals damage to their health. It's not hard to kill Corpus units. The problem with Corpus is they have interesting abilities. They're a bit more agile, a bit more mobile, and they can deal a whole lot of damage to you. So when dealing with Corpus faction, a bit of crowd control goes a long way. Now let me show you the mod I did this review for. Kinetic Ricochet. Now I came across this one and I thought to myself, wow, this is gonna be awesome. I'm gonna be able to fill a whole room with these bouncy marshmallows and I'm gonna wreck everything, get some punch through in there. Shots now bounce up to 6x and travel 30% further. Unfortunately, it doesn't state that this one has a negative to it. Let me show you exactly what I mean. So this is the bounce portion. Awesome, right? In indoor areas, that should be fantastic. The problem is every time the projectile bounces, it loses some of its maximum range. So from 100 meters, after just 2 bounces, the projectile only travels for about 30 meters. Now I fully tested this one, and to be honest, it's unreliable at best and borderline useless at worst. So I'm simply not gonna recommend it. Too bad, because I did like the idea overall. We're going to be spawning in level 120 corrupted heavy gunners and some guys from Fortuna as well. Now again, this is an MR4 weapon, so I wasn't expecting anything special, but you will see that the Prisma Tetra is capable of killing high level targets without any problem at all. Of course, the punch through there helping me out a lot, and I do recommend it once again if you guys got Prime Shred. Honestly, the weapon performed a lot better than I thought it would. I thought it would overstrip like crazy, and it doesn't, and that's because it has impact and a lot of puncture on it. So a lot of the procs are gonna be assigned to puncture. That's pretty much base performance. This is what you can expect with normal, average, everyday mods. And once again, if you don't have high voltage and you don't want to farm it, because I understand, trust me, I do, simply replace it with the 60-60 heat mod. That's what I would do in that case. And that's pretty much it. Again, for an MR4 weapon, this is definitely not bad. But I got to thinking, hold on. If I'm MR4, I don't even get access to Baro Ki'teer, from where we get the bloody weapon. What you can do is buy it from another player, but that's gonna be 30-40 plat that you might not have. So this is kind of strange to me. An MR4 weapon with, let's call it decent, come on, let's call it decent performance, that you're not giving access to new players. Kind of weird. In any case, there's still one more thing which I want to show you guys, a Riven setup, the power of Dispo 5 and all whatnot. Now this one costed me, what the hell did I pay for this? Oh, I traded a Welt Riven for this one. We got damage and electricity, and of course the electricity will contribute to my corrosive value. Now there's one thing that I left out previously on the standard build. Keep in mind that impact, puncture and slash, the physical types, have a 4 times greater chance at proccing over elemental types such as corrosive. So my proc value of puncture is actually 800 higher than the corrosive. But with the help of the Riven, finally corrosive is proc priority number 1. And of course the Riven took up the space of Vigilante armaments, as I simply cannot renounce Shred on this weapon. And once again, corrupted heavy gunners level 120. And let's see the power of Dispo 5. As you can see, the weapon is a whole lot more powerful now. Definitely, it is a Dispo 5 Riven. When it comes to the ideal stats, I would go for damage multi-shot and a harmless negative. Something like, reload speed wouldn't be exactly. Something like minus impact. Oh my god, if you guys could get minus impact, that would be absolutely freaking fabulous. So try to get something like that. Prices for Tetra Rivens are not exactly high. You're looking at 10-15 plat unrolled, no more than that. Of course, a good roll will set you back quite a few plat. As you saw there from the performance of the weapon, it is quite nice now with a Riven, but what boggles me about the weapon that it's Mastery Rank 4, but you're not giving direct access to it to MR4 players. This would be a fantastic weapon if you manage to pick it up somewhere around Mastery Rank 5, 6, and you don't like shotguns, because we can talk about the Comb, the Heck, the Sobek, and so on and so forth. But if you enjoy this type of weapon, and you simply just want something a bit more powerful, and you're a bit higher in Mastery Rank, check out the Supra Vandal. Link in the cards right now. Still one more thing, yes, we still have to bump up everything with Warframe buffs, and for that I'm going to be using Lord Harrow. Where are you, Harrow? There we go. Now Harrow is fantastic, I absolutely love this frame because he guarantees critical chance on headshot. Let's take a look at the buffs. What you can use is something like Rifle Lamp. Now Rifle Lamp, where are you? There we go. 27% extra damage to rifles. This is an aura, so everybody in your party will be receiving this benefit, and it is stackable ×4. Keep in mind that these amp auras don't provide a huge benefit. It's only 27% at the end of the day. You can increase the value with coaction drift, but from my point of view, they're simply not worth it. What is worth, however, is arcanes. On headshot, 10% chance for plus 120% damage to primary weapons for 16 seconds. And this one is Arcane Rage. It's not expensive. Well, I guess it is expensive for some. 60, 70, 90 plat even on the trade chat PC, and you can farm it from the third Eidolon down on Cetus. As for your second Arcane, I would fully recommend Arcane Avenger. As the weapon doesn't have a fantastic crit chance, this one will offer you 30% crit chance bonus additive after, so your Prisma Tetra is going to be going from 10% to 40% if you don't have any additional critical chance mods on it. So bear that one in mind. Now if I'm gonna do this, and if I'm gonna be using the weapon with Harrow, it would stand to reason to use something like critical damage on the weapon. You know you're gonna be critting, right? So you don't have to bother with crit chance mod, then go for crit damage mod. And I can slap on Vital Sense. Let's remove Shred, for example, for 120% critical damage. You can take it even further with bladed rounds. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna be dropping high voltage. I'm gonna be going to, what's that gonna be, 6.8x crit multi, and the crit chance is guaranteed by Lord Harrow. Once again, same targets as before. I'm just gonna be unpausing the AI so they can hit me, and I'm gonna be activating Harrow's fourth ability, which will grant me my critical chance. This frame is a pain in the butt to farm, honestly he is, but he is so worth it. He's the kind of frame that can actually make an impact on the whole team, so bear that one in mind. His fourth ability will get me my crit, and his second ability will get me reload speed as well as fire rate. And of course Harrow is capable of making any weapon seem a whole lot more powerful than it actually is. Take a look. I am shredding through targets without any problems at all. And I think that's pretty much it for the review on the Prisma Tetra. This is not a bad weapon, definitely not. The problem is you don't get it when you're supposed to, from my point of view. If you manage to get this one while you're lower in mastery rank 4, 5, 6, even 7, and you don't enjoy using shotguns, then by all means try the weapon out, as later you will get to look forward to the Supra Vandal, which is a fantastic quote-unquote endgame weapon. As always, my name is Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. If you have any feedback for me, then by all means leave it in the comment section down below. Also in the comment section down below if you got any weapon suggestions for me. Now I can't guarantee you that it'll be done by next time or even within a week, because these things take a bit of time to make, but I will be reading through each and every comment. In the meantime, you can find me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, all the usual places. Until next time guys, bye bye.